Well, I learnt a lesson this weekend, didn't I? I backed all of the Northern Hemisphere teams to win and all lost. I mean, they were close games, and in this one, the Scots v the Boks, the Scots will feel they could have had a chance at some points, but in the end, the Boks streak clear, 15-32, especially because they changed a lot of players. Maybe they struggled a bit with the flow of the game, but goodness me, the individual talent, the power, it's all there, and they brought on that atom bomb squad, and it was absolutely terrifying. And in the end, too much for Scotland, who are kind of known for their ingenuity, their attack, and they didn't score any tries at all. So welcome to this video, supported by Sports News Blitz, the website and podcast that gives young journalists a start in their career. Let's get into this game, and it was just a bruising game just to watch. I mean, it was just terrifying intensity. Maybe not all the quality at times, but pretty even attack versus defence early doors. Scotland coming up hard, forcing Pollard to kick quite a lot. That happened in the game. That happened quite a lot in this game. Scotland hanging on, making good tackles. Zander Fagerson had some nice touches in this game, a fierce counter-ruck early on, but Dempsey was caught not rolling away. And South Africa don't take the points. They go for the corner, and Pollard, his line kicking is one of his strengths, and he nails it to 5 metres out. Then he squirts a crossfield kick over to Mapimpi, and he steps on the accelerator and outpaces Tom Jordan. Not normally a fullback, had a mixed bag this afternoon. Maybe they should have put Kinghorn at fullback and maybe Reid on the wing. That's the way I'd have liked it. But anyway, he can't get there, and Mapimpi scores straight away. So great start for South Africa, 0-5. Now Scotland get plenty of attacks in this game, but twice early on they were muscled into touch. The second one, a mighty heave by the captain Eben Etzebeth, flying his compatriot Van der Merwe into touch. But they lose a line out, a second one in a row, and they did lose a few line outs. And Hugh Jones, a bit of magic between the legs pass, and it looks like Scotland win a penalty, but good experience from Eben Etzebeth highlights to the ref that there could have been a croc roll, and indeed there is. And this is a bad point for Scotland here, because it's a yellow for Cummings. It could easily have been Rory Darge actually, but Cummings cops the yellow, which then gets upgraded to a red for targeting the leg. A bit more clumsy, I guess, than maybe targeted, but still it's a red in the current laws. But of course, it's a 20-minute red card. So we've seen a second 20-minute red card. We saw one in Wales-Fiji, another one here, and Scotland could have lost a player for the whole game, and they don't in the end. It doesn't help. But anyway, interesting to see that law in action. Then we get a series of technical set-piece infringements from South Africa, and Scotland are on the attack. Tuipulotu, the captain, bumps off Pollard. He had some decent thrusts in this game. And then our new friend, the kick-blocking enforcement penalty, gives Scotland a 3-5. So then on 20 minutes, Lekanyuam loses the ball for the second time in attack. And goodness me, South Africa did spill up the ball quite a lot in attack, but at least they had loads of attacks. But a big shove from South Africa wins a free kick, and they knock on immediately, and that's kind of what happened a lot in this game. Then a nice jackal penalty for Matt Fagerson, and Scotland go ahead 6-5. Really good strike from the ball from Russell. He kicked really nicely off the tee, so they're in the lead despite being down to 14 men. Now, like I said, South Africa just can't get into flow, not least because of these knock-ons. On 23 minutes, it's Canan Moodie who inexplicably fumbles an easy ball, so plenty of that. Now, an interesting tactic on 25 minutes. Scotland tried to test out South Africa at their own game with the big, hard one-out runners. It's slow progress, but then Amand van Staden, they do a big counter-ruck, and Scotland's lack of imagination kind of shoots himself in the foot there, because that was a decent attacking chance. And South Africa go straight up the pitch, get a line out. It's messy, but then my favourite tight head at the moment, Thomas du Toit, seizes on it and scores. So good finish, a little fortunate. But anyway, Scotland should have finished down the other end, and they didn't, and they got punished. So 6-12 after 25. So after that 20-minute red card is up, South Africa only got a net gain of 1 point. So Scotland will take that as a bit of a win. The ruck is such a fight. So many players needed to be committed just to counter each other's counter rucks. It makes life really hard for tacklers to roll away. And Smith, a bit unlucky, but he is stuck in there, gets pinged. Another lovely strike from Russell, so that is 9-12. Then a real killer moment for Scotland. Ben White just needs to clear the box kick. The ref says use it, and he takes too long. So it's tough, but it's correct. He gets pinged, and then it's a really good launch platform for South Africa. Scrum on the 22, Esterhuizen flies over the gain line. Goodness me, he looked so explosive, trying to give de Allende a run for his money, and this was a good audition for that, but he just flies over the gain line, and it looks like Scotland have numbers sorted out, but Willie le Roux, an audacious little chip over the top, just into the space where Mapimpi can run onto it. Beautiful stuff. 9.19, so that's really a big problem with Ben White being too slow to clear the ball, and South Africa pounce again. 2 tries, great vision from Kicks. So 9.19 after 33. And then 2 killer blows in a row. Just as Ben White's made that mistake, Scotland actually score. They put together a really good team try, but it's ruled out. It's a good build-up. Russell pulls it back to Tuipulotu, and he does the old no-look short ball, which he's so good at. And Jordan goes through, 2-on-1 to White. They're over the line, but the TMO spots a knock-on from Hugh Jones. It is a knock-on, but it's just so painful for Scotland. So those are big 2 moments before half-time, and they're 10 points down. Now, Scotland get 3 points back immediately. Snyman is on, and he drops the restart for the second half, and they get a penalty from a scrum, so it's 10-19. Andre the Giant has been an absolute explosive beast, just smashing the ball up, and lots of probing kicks from Pollard. Jordan's having issues in below, and then the Atom Bomb squad rolls on, literally a whole new pack of starters, Springboks, Khaleesi, Pieter-Steph du Toit, Wiese. It's absolutely crazy stuff, and these fresh carriers just hammer away at Scotland. Pieter-Steph du Toit, 3 huge carries in a row in a nice build-up in 46 minutes, but then, of course, another drop, this time Schoeman disrupting the ruck, but these ball carriers are just massive. I mean, we know South Africans are big men, but sometimes Etzebeth, Pieter-Steph du Toit, RG Snyman just make people look like children, hammering away. Scotland under loads of pressure. They're tackling hard, but they're getting gain line, of course. But then Hendrickse, of course, with the dropsies on 49 minutes, kills another attack. But it's really all South Africa. Moody robs Jordan in the air. Moody did some good work in the air. And South Africa, again, monster carries. And once again, can't convert as Scotland counter-ruck this time. So at the beginning of that second half, Scotland resisted a lot of pressure. And then they get another chance. It's a good move, as it's a rehearsed inside ball to Van der Merwe, but with an extra decoy line. So that was a really good play. And then Fagerson just snatches at the ball metres away from the line, and they lose another chance. So that's maybe 3 killer blows for Scotland, maybe shooting themselves in the foot as well. And Hugh Jones throws a wild pass into touch. So yes, they lost, but they'll look back on it and go, man, if we had executed, we could have made this so much closer. On 57 minutes, an audacious crossfield kick from Finn Russell. He's running across the pitch and he kind of hooks it over his head almost, but it's perfect, and Scotland are throwing basketball passes around, just crazy stuff, and Mapimpi cops a yellow for a deliberate knock-on to stop the continuity, and it's Scotland's turn to have wave after wave of attack. Jordan goes through and maybe should have made a 2-on-1 stick, but doesn't give it to White, and the game is just a crazy pace, just absolutely nuts. Scotland simply have to score, but from the penalty they go for a shot at goal from 5 metres out, which is very un-Scotland-like. But anyway, it's 15-19, and Scotland have wrestled back the momentum. Their subs come on. Williamson wins a holding on penalty, the sub second row, and Am gets straight one back, so the game is very finely balanced. Matt Fagerson, though, another mistake, a sloppy penalty, this time hooking the jumper's arm in a line out, so they stretch it back to 15-22. The physical collisions are absolutely massive, but Scotland's attacking shape is looking good. They just can't break through, though. Epic tackling from South Africa, and Marks eventually strips the ball. He was another fresh sub coming on. And then for some reason, though, Willie le Roux goes for a crazy crossfield bomb from his own 22, and Scotland get to attack again. On 69 minutes, the South African scrum shows up and demolishes the Scotland front row, the replacement front row that I was worried about in the pre-show. Anyway, that gets South Africa back on the attack. The Scotland tackling is pretty good, and Pollard is just probing those kicks in behind because they can't quite break through. Jordan seems to have tidied one of these up, but then there's a killer knock-on, gifting South Africa a 5-metre scrum in front of the posts. Can they strike the final blow? They get a scrum penalty, but of course they can't scrum again, which is what they would have normally have done. So they actually opt to take the 3 points. Sensible stuff, because it takes it to 10 points. So it's really tough for Scotland to come back, and time's running out and they just can't get hold of the ball. Moody's winning the ball in the air. South Africa massive carries once again, and they just keep coming and coming and coming, bruising stuff scrum 5, and then a very rare sight in rugby these days, the scrum was driven over by South Africa and Wiese dots down. So in the end, it's 15-32. Sounds like a comprehensive victory for South Africa, but Scotland will realise they had plenty of chances and could have made it a lot closer, even won. And South Africa will look at it and go, we actually dropped the ball an awful lot as well and could have converted more. But again, South Africa, so powerful, so hard to stop. Good away win against South Africa for the clean sweep this weekend for the Southern Hemisphere. Anyway, please pop all those comments below. Like, subscribe. That would be amazing. And I'll catch you next time.